Hi, everybody. This is your friendly neighborhood leftist, Sophie of sexwithsophie.com. Uh, yeah, my husband has to work in the morning. He was like, I can't do it. She's not falling asleep. So here we are. I was hoping to come on a little earlier, but she's just not gonna go to sleep. But as that stupid ass senator or whoever the fuck said, uh, the cries of babies are like angels or some stupid shit. So yeah, here we are. Um, Welcome to Call a Liberal. This is a show for people who are interested in discussion and not debate. Although I highly respect Destiny and Luke Beasley and Javon Bradley and all these folks who, yes, are amazing debaters. I'm not here to grill you on your logical fallacies or um, what implicit bias or confirmation bias you have or whatever. I'm just here for discussion. And so if you are interested in such a thing, I would love for you to give me a call. This is just my second day streaming to TikTok, so you might not be familiar with who I am and what I do. Um, so again, my name is Sophie of sexwithsophie.com, where where I teach people how to talk to each other about sex and sexuality. Um, that somehow morphed into me getting into the political space simply because to be in the sex ed realm, you're talking about abortion, you're talking about LGBTQIA plus issues, you're talking about trans people. So it naturally migrated to where I seem to be speaking on a lot of things surrounding this election a lot. So that's where I thought, hey, let's reach out to the other side because we cannot be as different as they're trying to make us out to be. And so that's why I started Call a Liberal, because I really want to make sure that there's a bridge to the other side. And in fact, I know that it's working because I was banned from True Social. That was one of President Trump's first acts, was to, I guess, kick all the voices off of his private fucking social media platform that could possibly show his constituents that we have a lot more in common than what separates us. So yeah, I was kicked off of True Social. So that's why I think this is that's just proof that this is a valuable platform. So, again, if you're interested in discussion, I'm not really the best debater. I'm not here to argue with you or try to convince you of anything. I genuinely would love your opinions and thoughts, and these are some of my opinions and thoughts. Let's see if they're popping up. Yeah, these are some of the things that I fervently and wholeheartedly believe. And if you disagree at all, give me a buzz. You can also Text that number. You can also, sorry, let me close the door. She's loud. You can also leave a comment from wherever you're watching from. And again, this is our second day on TikTok, but we've been doing Call a Liberal. I say we, it's just me. But I've been doing Call a Liberal for a few months now on the traditional platforms, Facebook and Instagram and whatnot. But also, I've moved into a lot of the right wing spaces. So yeah, I've been streaming to X and Kick, but also again True Social, Rumble, Locals, a lot of places, Gab, a lot of places that are extremely, extremely right wing. And so, again, if you're interested in chatting, this is a wonderful space, calm, safe space to chat with somebody who might think a little different than you do. I'm just a regular person. I'm not trying to have any gotcha moments with anybody. I absolutely feel like we can find more bridges between how we think than um, what separates us. So I think Kamala Harris was absolutely right in that regard. Yeah, there's so much. Oh my gosh, it's funny because I love my baby. I love having my baby here, but um, it just makes me think of that senator who was speaking at RFK Jr.'s hearing, and he said something to the effect of, "We've had two interruptions. One was someone's phone to silence your phones, and two, there was a baby crying, and we'll allow that because babies are the the angels telling us that they're real," or something fucking dumb as fuck. So that was kind of funny that then my baby gets to join along with me today. But again, this is your space and your time. I tend to just play games and chill and speak what's on my mind. Today, I really want to focus on just chatting a little bit about DEI because I worked in that space for so long. I think I have a little bit more maybe knowledge than most, apparently, than the fucking president. So there's that. But if you have any thoughts or you want to interrupt me at any time, that's totally your prerogative. This is your time and your space to call a liberal, Southern American Black woman to talk about any of the topics that I have listed above. Yeah, or anything else at all. If you want to talk parenting, sex and sexuality, literally anything on your mind, this is your time and your space. Um, just as far as the topic of DEI, though, hello, hi, yes. I just want to kind of clear up what Donald Trump asserted when he was responding to the recent plane crash. This man got up there. Not only did he say that the reason that the accident occurred was because of DEI, which is absolutely patently absurd. In fact, it was his fucking fault. Hands down, it was his fault. He literally succumbed to Elon Musk's bitching about how the FAA was coming down on him, how the FAA was coming down on Elon Musk's SpaceX and Starlink bullshittery. And so they pressured the FAA leader to step down. So the actual administrator, the top person at the FAA, what is it? Let's get the right name for it, because I don't know. Yeah. So the top guy at the FAA stepped down on the very day that Donald Trump took office, and he also took steps to, yes, to gut the Aviation Security Advisory Committee on January 22nd. So they haven't had anybody in that role to to mitigate what's been going on. He also, of course, implemented that federal buyout, which who knows how many air traffic controllers took. Um, So he literally came in and wrecked shop in the FAA and in aviation in general. And then we wonder why what happened. And yet he can't take any sort of personal responsibility and blames DEI. But to make matters worse, he actually went on to um, specifically blame people with disabilities. So he cited, I guess, some rule that the FAA was going to now hire people who have cognitive delays and mental delays and people who have dwarfism. Why would that even come up? Um, so I just want to clarify because, again, I worked in the DEI space for quite some time. Um, I supported them as a marketing professional across education, across nonprofits and things like that. And so, I worked in schools where, with schools that were specifically tailored for children with special needs. And those kids could actually stay in the schools sometimes until they were 25 years old. And so a lot of the process of getting them to their graduation was helping them to find jobs. And so you'll have where DEI organizations will help special needs kids who are now special needs adults move into finding jobs, doing things like greeting. If they have like mental delays, of course, they'll do things like being a greeter, passing out cards, or helping to clean up tables, jobs that are within their purview. But you don't have, just because the FAA might employ people to help with some back end stuff or luggage or greeting at airports, you don't have those people piloting planes or doing anything. Um, yeah, where somebody's life might actually be in the balance. So I think it's a beautiful. Yeah, I know. Yeah, it makes you mad too. Yeah, it makes mommy mad. But yeah, it does. It kind of pisses me off because these are wonderful programs that help the most vulnerable of us to actually procure employment and help a lot of them actually move on to feeling like and being adults on their own respect. Um, and then bastardizing that and acting like that's something that the FAA is doing to put these people in key positions. That's absolutely stupid. So yeah, I definitely feel like when it comes to DEI, it's been fully misrepresented by Donald Trump. But also, again, it's done in a way that's meant to take the heat off of himself because, again, this entire thing was his fault. And if you disagree at all, this is your time and your space to let me know and to put it out there for the world, or my maybe one or two viewers, 33 viewers, thank you, hi, um, to see. But yeah, I'm absolutely open to hearing differences of opinion and thought. This is a time for discussion. You want to talk to me? Yeah, nobody wants to talk to me. You want to talk to me? Yeah. I don't know if anybody's noticed a pattern with my presentation here. like every shirt I have is pulled way down. Cause she likes to like jack you up. Oh my goodness. Okay, so this is my daughter, one of them. So yeah, she's hanging out because her dad needs to get a good night's sleep to go to work in the morning, and she was not allowing for that. So so here we are. Hi, baby. No, you don't want to eat that. Maybe you do. But yeah, so when it comes to DEI, that's pretty much what that means in regards to literal mentally disabled people. But otherwise, I don't see what the problem is with people who have um, needs when it comes to like wheelchair access. One of my dear friends' daughter has cerebral palsy. and uses she uses a wheelchair, but her mental, yeah, she's like the valedictorian of her class. Her mental functions are just fine. She just can't speak as fluently and fluidly as she would like, and she's of course wheelchair bound. Um, but there's nothing wrong with her mind, so I don't see a problem with ensuring that workplaces have wheelchair accessibility or programs to help people who might have hearing or visual loss. Like, nothing's wrong with your brain; you can still function. And of course, nobody's going to put like a blind person in a position where they're having to look at a board where airplanes are flying all day. It's just, we have to use some common sense. Donald Trump's talking about he used his common sense. Please, please. Yeah, so I'm a little saddened by how this whole thing of DEI has been basically bastardized to be a placeholder word now for black and brown people, for women, for pregnant people, for disabled people, for LGBTQIA plus people. That's literally all he's saying when he says it's DEI's fault. He's really saying it's probably a woman's fault. It's probably a black person's fault. It's probably, whoever's fault. So that's one of the things where again, it's disgusting, but you got to think about also like who's believing that. Like if you're believing this, again, this is prime time for you to call somebody and just chat that out. Let's unpack it. Let's really get to the bottom of not only what it is you believe, but why you believe it. Like how is it possible for you to move in this world with that level of gullibility, sweetheart? Like I don't get it. So very happy to again have a chat if you want to give me a call, if you want to text that number, if you want to um leave a comment from wherever you're watching from. This is again your time and your space to call a liberal. I am Sophie, very left leaning Southern American black woman who currently resides in the UK. That's why it's pretty late my time. It's about 11:30 p.m. my way, but definitely up to hang out with you on this lovely Friday night and chit chat about DEI in particular. That's what's on my heart today, but literally anything you want to talk about is fine. I'll stop what I'm doing to um, listen and hear what it is that's on your mind. So, again, this is your time, your space for uh, a chance to call somebody who maybe thinks a little differently from you. What's funny is that a lot of the calls I get are from people who are very much in line with my thinking already. I talked to a lovely gentleman yesterday who was very pro DEI, but done right. Um, he had a really interesting point about enjoying that people are taking their masks off, that you can now see who's racist. Honestly, just by asking who they voted for, you can know pretty much everything about a person and what they believe and think. Which is not a bad thing. Which is not a bad thing because again, you're there's a certain level of safety in that, which is kind of a good thing. You can't be too upset about being more safe, I suppose. So, yeah, I'm all for talking about whatever. I've had conversations with actual pedophiles. I've had conversations with, again, people from Germany. Like, so they have a whole different set of concerns than some of my American friends might. But wherever you're calling from, whatever's on your heart, this is a space for you. This is your time and your space to call a leftist, call a liberal, call I wouldn't say Democrat. I don't vote with any designation. I'm unaffiliated, but I have voted Democrat for the last my whole life, I guess. So I voted for Barack Obama, Hillary Clinton, Biden, of course, the goat Kamala Harris. So yeah, I actually really uh I really liked her. I really thought she was pretty much the perfect candidate. And so it's so funny that then we hear this word DEI hire. And it makes no sense to me because it's just so much that this woman had to do um to actually like be in the positions that she held and holds. So it just kind of goes back to what I've always said. If you're a black woman, especially, you have to fly. If you're a black person, but if you're a black woman, you have to fly. You have to be able to have on jetpack engines, whereas everybody else can just walk or crawl. That's just been so evidenced by the recent election, I swear. But again, this is your time and your space. And hi, I see someone from Twitch is chiming in. How are you? You're absolutely welcome to um, give me a call or text that number if you want. Whatever makes you most comfortable. Um, I'm not here to berate anyone. Sup, sup. How are you? Yeah, this is definitely a low key, chill kind of a space. I am a little fired up, I'll admit, just because the loss of life recently. Um, it hurts. It hurts so much. To see these young people and their moms, their coaches. I heard that the skating team had actually had a loss very similar to this in the 1960s. They lost almost their entire um, squad and their coaches in a plane crash in the 1960s, 1961, I want to say. So it's nuts that they had a repeat of this, and they said the reason it's so devastating is because they were just now kind of recouping 60 years later from the previous loss, because when the coaches go, when that young talent goes, that's the future of your sport gone with them. So it's just it's devastating. um there was a an attorney who was just about to start her professorship at I want to say Howard Law. She passed away in the plane crash. So just the sheer magnitude of the loss of life and talent and people who were going to make a difference, it's just staggering. So the fact that it was solidly and squarely Mr. Donald Trump's fault, squarely his fault, forcing the FAA administrator to resign, getting rid of all the people who were the inspector generals, particularly over transportation, um, gutting and literally firing the what is the group, the Aviation Security Advisory Committee's membership. Literally 2 days into his being in office, the FAA guy was gone the first day he was in office. I mean, it's nuts to think that. Oh, and then also doing the federal buyout for the federal employees. Who knows how many air traffic controllers left when that offer was presented. So it absolutely makes no sense. So yeah, when it comes to DEI, it sucks that he scapegoated it, and it sucks that he scapegoated it with a focus on disability. Because again, for them to have programs in place that put people who have mental delays and learning disabilities in positions that are not piloting planes, that are not um, looking at the air traffic control sheet, they're probably helping with greeting or helping with luggage or helping with cleanup or things like that. Those are the kind of jobs that a lot of people with learning and mental delays get. Again, I worked in a school district that had two schools that were dedicated to children with special needs, and they could stay in school until they were like 25 years old. And that post graduation to adulthood time was spent giving these children turned adults the opportunity to find jobs doing like card management at a gift shop, or working in a museum, or working in a restaurant, filling up salt shakers and things that were within their level. So it just disgusted me to no end that Donald Trump would blame, again, DEI, and then cite the beautiful programs that they put in place for these kids. Also, DEI doesn't just mean black people. It's like they're using this as this blanket term for othered people, for marginalized groups, and that's just crazy. Um, I'd love your thoughts if you're wanting to chime in the comments, or if you have a moment to pick up the phone and call a liberal. Um, yeah, I'm very, again, very fired up about it. I'm a little pissed off. It's really hard to do because I'm a very copacetic person. So yeah, it's taxing to your heart, to see what's going on, and then to see that this man cannot take a single amount of accountability for having forced the FAA leader to resign, for again making it where all these air traffic controllers are taking his buyout, where he fired uh, all the aviation security advisory committee members, like literally, like absolutely had his hand in it. Josh says, didn't vote, don't care. You didn't vote, but you voted. I mean, to not vote is basically a vote for Trump. So that says a lot about you. I hate to say it. Um, yeah, so good for you. Thanks for that. Also, I mean, if you're an American, are you regretting that decision not to vote? Like that's because again, you essentially helped to put Donald Trump in office. So are you happy with that decision? And if so, why? If not, would love to know why as well. It's something where I used to feel that way. I used to feel that way. I used to feel like voting didn't matter. I actually resented people for voting because I was, and maybe this is some virtue signaling, so sorry in advance, but I used to work at a food bank. I would help take the food out and put it into organized shelves every week. I used to work at the Battered Women's Shelter. I was part of a lot of groups like Junior Women's Club of Charlotte, um, Leadership Charlotte. I did a lot in my community, like a lot in my community. So whenever somebody came up to me and they showed me their little I voted sticker, I was like, okay, so that's what you've done. You voted and now you're done. There's nothing else that's going to happen from you because you voted and that's it. And then, believe it or not, I actually had an opportunity to go to this like panel discussion that Hugh McCall, the freaking president of Bank of America, like the richest guy in North Carolina, was on. And he asked, this was right after Donald Trump's first term when he got in office. And he asked, hey, how many of you guys voted? And I was like, staunchly, I'm not voting. I didn't vote. And he was like, young lady, don't you understand? Like, the reason that they fight so hard to make it difficult for you to vote is because your vote matters. That, especially voting in the lower levels and in your community, at the local levels, that's what really helps to make a huge difference where you actually live. It just, I don't know, just the fact that he was like, young lady, madam, don't you realize? It just really hit me. So like ever since then, I've been an avid voter. I actually wrote him recently. He's got to be like 86 years old now. But it was just beautiful to be able to say, "Hey, thank you, Mr. McCall, for kind of lighting a fire under me." So now, yes, I still volunteer. I still try to give and donate when I can to different causes, but I also vote, and especially in the local levels. So, I try to make a difference in however way I can, and it's such a tiny thing, especially with mail-in voting. I live in the UK, so I was able to vote just online, which is amazing. So you're able to look up your people and see all the stuff. So to say you didn't vote and don't care, that's kind of dumb, man. Like I had to admit how dumb that was when I wasn't voting. So just own it. It's dumb. You need to vote. You have to vote because not voting again, it's still fucking voting, dude. Look who's in office because what, like 100 and something, like 1.3 million people decided to sit at home. Like it's stupid. So that's an opinion I've got to stand by. Voting matters, but again, don't just stop there because that again was something that I used to get angry at people for. Is just, oh, I voted and I'm done. Like no, still call your politicians, volunteer when you can, knock on doors, go feed the homeless, go. Um, Help at your local animal shelter or battered women's shelter or whatever you can do. Join local organizations. There's also a really, really easy way to help that actually benefits you. Look for your city and county's like board list. There's all these boards um, that just help to run and advise and maintain and keep your city going. And they look so good on your resumes. So I was on the board for the public access channel in my city. And I was also on the board for the Small Business Association for my city. I was on a board for the American Lung Association for Charlotte's chapter. I was also on the board for like a local facility that did that like meted out like charitable organizations that had like facilities for charitable organizations. They recently changed their name. Um, but yeah, I was on so many boards, and each one looks so good on your resume, and you're actually helping causes that are close to your heart. So definitely check that out. So when it comes to the DEI space again, though, I've kind of chit chatted about my feelings about, Trump and his absolute disastrous way of presenting DEI as like a way for disabled people to get jobs in positions that they don't, or can't do. I think that's just stupid if anybody believes that, but you can't say that these days because clearly people believe a lot of the bullshit this guy peddles. So, you know, it's safe to say somebody believes that airports legitimately have people who have learning disabilities in the pilot seat. You know, it's crazy to me. It's crazy sauce. But also when it comes to DEI, speaking of like disabled people, the thing about it is, that saying rising tides lift all ships. That goes both ways. So you have where when DEI efforts were enacted to make um like the workplace more suitable for uh, people with wheelchairs, and now everywhere has to have like a ramp and access. Even the curb on your street has to have the ability for a wheelchair to get by. Think about who else that helps. That helps mothers with their buggies, old people, people who have trouble seeing, or who might have a fall hazard, or, people who are just on their bicycle, people on skateboards, like anybody with wheels. Ramps helped everybody. So this one little thing that was meant for one group helps so many people. Even something as simple as like when you're crossing the street and you can hear the tone that lets you know when to cross, and that just adds another level of safety. It's another kind of key that like I can tell my daughter, okay, when you hear it, now you can go. That was meant for like blind people, but it's something that benefits everybody and can become a cue for everybody. So, in one vein, the rising tide lifts all ships in that way, whereas like DEI programs, especially for disability, help all people. But then you have the kind of opposite side of that, where whenever you do see efforts to have more inclusiveness, have more integration, and things like that, you'll have where when those efforts are countered, they hurt everybody. So, for instance, when um, uh, integration was put into place around like public pools, I don't know if you know this, but in America, there used to be so many public pools and public parks and public playground areas. But as soon as they integrated the pools, rather than just allowing this and having fun with everyone, some people would go and put acid in the pools when black people were in there. There are pictures of this. Some people would just berate and curse at and call the N word black people until they left the pool, so nobody was having a good time. But then the worst was they actually put concrete in most of the pools, especially in the South. So there's really not very many public pools left in America because instead of integrating like they were supposed to, they just closed them down. They just cemented them in. So again, on one hand, when DEI is done right, it helps everybody. But when DEI is specifically targeted and black people, people with disabilities, gay people are chastised and told they can't do a thing, then it hurts everybody. And I know the trans thing comes up quite a bit, and please, please, please interrupt me at any time. You're welcome to call this number and chit chat about anything you want to if you're not feeling this DEI conversation. But yeah, it's insane how um let's see, what was I gonna say? Yeah, okay, like the trans thing is coming into or coming under fire. But if you look at, especially when it comes to kids, but if you look at people under 18 getting gender affirming care, um, you would think it's for trans people. That, I guess that's the first thing that they want to come into your head. When in reality, most people who are getting gender affirming surgeries, especially under the age of 18, are cisgender. They're not trans in any way, shape, or form. So you have, um, particularly, I think the highest rate of surgery is for young boys who have like large breasts or mastitis, I think it's called, who want to have surgery to reduce their breast tissue. And so putting these kind of things under fire hurts cis people. So again, whenever you're doing something in regards to DEI, it can only help everybody. It'll have these unintended benefits as opposed to the unintended consequences of trying to stop something that you have no idea about. So it's just insane how we're operating these days. But again, this is your time and your space. I am literally just gabbing until I get my first caller of the night. So again, sorry for being a bit of a blabbermouth. But again, I did work in the DEI space for so long. So feel free to leave your comments and your thoughts, your questions from wherever you're watching from. This is just my second day streaming to TikTok, so thank you so much for having me. I've been on all these other platforms for several months now, especially around the election time. So it's really nice to kind of be, I would say, home because I've been on TikTok forever, but actually I haven't been able to actually like do live streaming until again just yesterday. This is just my second day on uh this platform, but it's great. I'm so happy to be here. If you have thoughts, comments, questions, feel free to throw them in the chat. You can also call the number that is on your screen, or you can text that number. You can also go to sexwithsophie.com and leave or contact me if you want to chat at a specific date and time that's more comfortable for you. So I try to be accommodating and amenable because this is your time. This is your space to call a liberal, to call a left leaning black woman who, again, maybe thinks a little differently than you, maybe thinks pretty similarly to you, but maybe you disagree with some of the things that I believe that I've listed above here. Um, it's up to you. This is your space. I'm just chit chatting a little bit about DEI because it's just so prescient right now. It's just so hard hitting of a topic because of how it's been bastardized because of Donald Trump. So forgive me if I'm a little fired up about it because again, this is something I know. I've worked in DEI for just so long, and I've seen what works and what doesn't, and so it can be frustrating for somebody to call out, especially disabled people. Like, oh my god, that just really pissed me off. But I will say we were talking about like how when you help people who are marginalized, that has these unintended benefits for people. When you hurt people who are marginalized, that has unintended consequences for people. Um, but what that is called is a zero sum game. So for people to believe that by me lifting up someone else, I have to take a step back or I have to lose in order to give someone something, that's called a zero sum game. And there's an excellent book that you should check out if that's something you haven't heard of or want to learn more about. It's called The Sum of Us: What Racism Costs Everyone and How We Can Prosper Together by Heather McGhee. It is absolutely phenomenal. And she talks about some of those examples of things that I mentioned, like um, the filling in of public pools when they became integrated. She talks about how whole neighborhoods were flooded. Of course, she talks about things like Tulsa, uh, how they built the highway system through black neighborhoods, how um, a really good example or bad example is how you'll have a really rich white prominent area where it's well-to-do people living in one neighborhood, but then they'll place the black community and Hispanic community uh, close to like a factory or a place that's emitting a lot of chemicals that are causing higher cancer rates and blindness and all kind of things close to the factory. But the people who are still in the well-to-do area are starting to get sick and whatnot too, because just because you think you're um, hurting someone else or helping yourself, we still all breathe the same air. So it was just such a interesting example of, again, that zero sum thinking and how it can help or hurt people. So definitely check that out, The Sum of Us by Heather McGhee. I absolutely love that book. I've read it a couple times. Probably need to read it again. I have the other day I did like a book report and I went through my Libby app. If you haven't heard of Libby, check it out. All you need is your library card and you can access thousands, probably millions of audiobooks. It is just the coolest thing ever and it's all free. So if you've been paying like $20 a month or something crazy to Audible, stop that right now, get Libby. But the other day I went through my Libby timeline and showed some of the books I was reading. And I might do that again at some point just because there's some really good stuff out there on literally anything you can think of. So I have my kind of social justice warrior books that I read, and then interspersed between that, you'll see like a romance novel or a period piece or something silly. So yeah, don't mind me. I have a wide variety of tastes. But again, I'm just a blab, and this is really honestly your time. This is your space to call me, call a liberal, call a left leaning Southern American black woman who now lives in the UK. Like I feel so bad. I have a what is it, survivor's guilt because I escaped. Um oh my god, that's the coolest screen name I've ever seen. Somebody joined and it was just like a sound bar thing. That's really dope. I have to see how they did that. But yeah, so I live in the UK. So if you have questions about that, like, um, please let me know because I think you should leave. I wish everybody could just pack up and go. Not in like the mass deportation sense, fuck that. But like in the sense that America is such a dumpster fire. I have zero patriotism, first of all. Like people are like, "Oh, it's the best country in the world." Please, please, please call me and help me understand how and if you have any degree of nationalism, patriotism, how how is that possible? How is it possible? What has America done for anyone? What is America doing for anyone? I don't get it. I really don't. Like I've never understood that. Oh, we're the best, America. Fuck no, it's the fucking worst. I'm so glad I got out. I moved to England about 2 years ago now. It's the best decision I ever made. Especially because I have two little girls. I can't, how do you have little girls in America? My brother has a daughter. I cannot understand. I mean, he's doing pretty well for himself. So I think if you have money in America, it's a different story than if you don't. But yeah, if you please call me, please help me understand your patriotism or your nationalism. It's the same with like white supremacy. I've talked about this a few times. Again, this is only my second day going live on TikTok, so hi TikTok. I'm also streaming to, of course, your traditional places, YouTube, Facebook, stuff like that, Instagram. But I also have kind of jumped into the more right wing spaces like Kick and, of course, X, but also Rumble, Gab, Locals, things like that, that are really like alt tech, alt right. And so, I see a lot of white supremacists and, MAGA people and stuff. And I swear, I just don't get it. I just don't get it. Hi, Terry. Yeah, I'm left wing too, man. I swear. This is hard out here. Like, I don't understand. Like I'm trying to understand. That's the thing. That's what the point of this show is. Like, I really want to understand how people who have the same goals as we do, they want lower prices. They want to be healthy. They want to protect their families and be safe. We're not enemies. And I think the Luigi Mangione thing put all that into perspective. I really wish we could continue that energy, this class consciousness, So that's what I'm hoping to do. It's going to be a very tough 4 years. Hopefully, maybe just 2 years. Maybe with some of these Senate races coming up in a couple years, things will change. We got to get rid of him and Putin and Epstein. Epstein he got rid of himself apparently, right? Um, but yeah, man. The thing about Putin is he so tightly controls the media space in Russia that as bad as he is, as bad as we know he is, a lot of people in Russia have no clue that like they're the baddies. They have no idea. Like they're only seeing Elon as the most dangerous one. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. I mean, he's who think about who really controls the presidency right now. Um but yeah, like in Russia, like the steps that Putin took to maintain power and to maintain control and to put out so much propaganda that his own people have no clue that he's the one that started the war in Ukraine, that he's the one who's like literally killed his political rivals. It's insane, like what's said and what isn't said. So I have a dear friend who's Ukrainian, and she kind of, she's close to the Russian border, and just the difference between the media that you hear in Russia versus just over the border in Ukraine is crazy. Um, what do you guys think about Elon and the? I can't even do it because I mean, it's so offensive. It's so offensive. Like, do you think he did it? Do you think he didn't do it? Do you feel like it's being blown out of proportion? I personally hate that it's taking the the heat, I guess, off of his actual Nazi activity. Like this man literally is supporting fascist and Nazi regimes in Germany. He literally just spoke at the AFD meeting in Germany. The AFD are the fucking Nazis in Germany. They're the Nazi party of Germany. It's insane. So, like, what are you, again, please leave comments. Let me know what your thoughts are on the whole DEI thing, on this recent tragedy. I just feel it makes me feel horrible. The loss of life, and then just to blame it on DEI, sir? Really? Like, it hurts my heart, but I'm just curious to know if other people are as impacted as me. Um, I can't be alone in this. I can't be alone in just being so upset. Like so upset with how he's taken it away for from his own responsibility. And again, forcing the leader of the FAA to resign on his first day in office. The guy had been there since 2023, was doing a great job, but Elon Musk's talking about how dangerous he is. Elon Musk was upset that he was getting reprimanded and fined. He got like $600,000. $600,000 to Elon Musk is nothing. And yet, he got so mad that he was fined $600,000 for his bullshittery with Starlink and with SpaceX, that the FAA slapped on him, that he pressured the FAA chairman or administrator, whoever the top guy is, pressured him to resign. So he did. The guy resigned on the very first day of Trump's inauguration. Then Trump, of course, put out that federal employee buyout message. So who knows how many air traffic controllers took that? You know. Furthermore, all this shit with the Pentagon and FBI, like, who knows how that impacted this military exercise that was supposed to be going down. Trump literally just gutted and fired everybody from the Aviation Security Advisory Committee. So all the members are gone. So the committee still exists. There's just no members. So they haven't had any acting members since January 22nd. And so it's absolutely nuts to me that this man would get up there and not only not take responsibility for his actions that led to this horrible plane crash, um, but then he would actually blame it on DEI and disabled people at that, like the most vulnerable of the most vulnerable people. So, yeah, I'm not a fan. I hate how DEI has been targeted. I feel like DEI is literally just a key word for marginalized groups. So when he says, "Oh, the wildfires in California were crazy because of DEI," what he's saying is it's because of women, it's because of gay people, it's because of lesbians, it's because of black people that and their incompetence and them not being um, capable or intelligent. That's the reason that these things are happening. And that's so racist. That's just so racist. I have not had this here this whole time. I hope you could hear me. I'm sorry. But yeah, so I'm absolutely flabbergasted and flummoxed, all the FL words, at what's going on. But just to continue our conversation a bit, and again, interrupt at any time. You're free to call that number, text that number, leave a comment from wherever you're watching. I will read it out. Again, I'd love for you to comment with your thoughts on the whole Elon situation right now. Again, I personally, I have no question in my mind that he did the salute. People are like, did he, didn't he, is he? Because I know a lot of autistic people and none of them are out throwing out Nazi signs. Also, furthermore, like if you were to do something egregious that was offensive and hurtful to someone, let alone a whole group of people, wouldn't you apologize? Wouldn't you like take ownership of that? You know? And not only that, but if you were trying to defend someone who did these things, why would you do it too? Like if you're trying to say, oh, we know how offensive this is. That's how I know he didn't do it because it's so offensive. He could only have done that by accident. Why would you then go and do the thing that you said was so offensive and that you said you knew was offensive? Like I'm glad these idiots are losing their jobs for doing the symbol or whatever. Cause it's the dumbest shit I've ever seen in my life. And it's so hypocritical, as is what isn't when it comes to conservatives, I hate to say, but and to all my Rumble folks, because again, I'm streaming to a lot of right wing places, including Rumble. I love your thoughts. I'd love for you to correct me. I'd love for you to prove me wrong. give me a call. Let's chat about it. I'm a big fan of like Destiny and Luke Beasley and Javon Bradley, but that's not this show. I am not here to debate anyone. Very interested in conversation, understanding your mental space, how you came to believe the things that you believe, especially if you believe and feel differently than I do. Um, as you can see from my little list up here, maybe, perhaps, yeah, right here. I have some strong beliefs myself, but if you feel differently, I'm very happy to have those challenged. Um, but I'm not here to be like, your logical fallacy is such, your, your situational bias is this, or, whatever. That's not what this is. I'm genuinely wanting to chat and have some conversation with people who, um, again, might have a challenge to my point of view. I'm very open and happy for that. Um, Seeing some comments on other places. Hi, Deshawn. Hey, yeah, baby. Yeah, baby. Roller coasters are nice in America. America's on the craziest roller coaster you could possibly be on right now. Again, I don't have an ounce of patriotism. And if you do, I need to know why. What has America done for you? Especially if you're not white, if you're not a white man, a able-bodied, heteronormative white man, what has America done for you? What has America given you? Especially juxtaposed against what has America taken from you. I would love to know, especially again if you're white power, white supremacy, whatever, please let me know why. How do you possibly think that being white and wanting to maintain your tiny ass gene pool is a good thing? I would love to know that. You're kind of part of the problem, making everything about race. I'm guessing you're trying to say that's so sad. You should be trying, and I'm guessing you're going to continue your point. Please do. Thank you for your thoughts, Pamela. I hear that a lot, like that I'm making things about race, or that's always thrown out as an argument. You're making things about race, but how are things not about race? What isn't about race? When Donald Trump says that the wildfires in California are because of DEI, and that the recent helicopter airplane crash was because of DEI, and that we have to put a executive order in effect to stop DEI, and that we have to fire all the programs and leaders and programs related to DEI, and that we have to, you know, yeah, please do. XD bag, that's what this is. I'm here to understand how and why DEI is part of the problem. How again, I'm here to understand how it is that I'm making everything about race when again it seems to be about that DEI is the problem. Let me know. Feel free to call that number. You can absolutely text that number or continue to comment from wherever you're watching from. Yeah, break it down. Break it down. This is your time. This is your space to chat with the lib about anything on your mind. I'm just talking about DEI because that's very close to my heart. It's of course coming up in conversation quite a bit these days with all the executive orders and things that the president's doing, especially when it comes to he has a new executive order that's uh, forcing educators to refrain from teaching about slavery and taking the Tuskegee Airmen out of the educational programs that are in um, the Air Force and things like that. What do you think? Tell what is DEI? Like, what is it that you're glad is going away? On the FAA website, it says that they do not discriminate against people with mental disabilities. Okay, this is 100% DEI. Yeah, yeah, it is. You might have come on after I talked about this, but I used to work in a school district, and we had two schools that were dedicated to uh, children with special needs. And one of the things that we would do is help those children to find jobs, especially if they had learning disabilities or mental delays. Turn off CNN, maybe watch some conservative network once in a while. My friend, I'm all over Rumble. I'm on Gab. I was on True Social before Donald Trump banned me. Donald Trump banned me from True Social. But I'm still on Rumble. I'm still on Gab. I'm still on Locals. I'm still on, of course, X and Kick. So I get my fill of left wing, I'm sorry, right wing media. DEI is against whites. Facts. So are there are no white women? There are no white disabled people? There are no white LGBTQIA plus people? There are no mixed people? There are no um yeah, like I don't understand the whole misunderstanding here. So again, what is DEI? Just to finish about mental disabilities though, the kids that we would help get jobs, um who do you work in a place with a DEI director? I have, yeah. I've worked in several places with DEI directors. Um but yeah, so the kids who have mental disabilities, the kinds of jobs that we try to help them get, because again, they can stay in school until sometimes they're up to 25 years old. So that whole pre graduation period is spent helping them to try to live on their own a little bit better. A lot of them can't, even with a job, they're still going to need some help for the rest of their lives, but they can do jobs like greeting people, like cleaning up, putting salt and salt shakers, um, putting little cards and envelopes for like a gift shop. So we help them work in museums. We help them work at the airport, and like again, like gift shops and some of the stores fronts and the cafeteria areas and things like that. You're not going to see a mentally challenged person flying your plane. If you've seen that, you got to let me know because yeah, the kinds of jobs that airports and I'm sure other FAA organizations, um because there's plenty, you have like NASA and stuff like that. I'm sure that they're not working in air traffic control, sweetheart. Let's think about it a little bit. so so I'm glad that the FAA does not discriminate against people with mental disabilities because they have to. um a lot of them have to have work too. And if they have places that they can put these people, especially with severe cognitive delays, that just helps these people to feel more independent, to make a little money, to feel more confident in living on their own if they have to. So absolutely, it's a good thing. There's no problem with that. Because again, if you genuinely think that they're putting somebody with a learning disability in the cockpit, then yeah, okay. All right. Sure. Um, yeah, Tim, if you want to finish your thought. Again, I have worked in places with DEI directors. I've seen some significant, wonderful changes when DEI is done right. And it can be a really beautiful thing because especially when it comes to women. Like what's funny is you're talking about DEI directors, um, people who are in DEI positions. uh, 76% of them are white women. So if you're looking to preserve whiteness or something like that, Donald Trump just fired a predominantly white person held job. Um, DEI is not just helping Black people. Also, I think when people hear DEI, they immediately think affirmative action. And when they think affirmative action, they immediately think, oh, you're giving Black people jobs over white people. And that's just not true. So, in case you just didn't know, affirmative action was not meant to make quotas. It was not meant to hire Black people over white people. What it did was it said, okay, if we have two equally qualified people, equally qualified, we're going to choose the Black person instead of the white person because they're equally qualified. It's not, oh, we're going to lower our standards. That's what Elon Musk likes to say. We're going to lower our standards. And how fucking racist is that to assume that just because a Black person or a brown person is in a role that they had to lower their standards for them? That's bullshit. So, no, that's not the case. Another thing that affirmative action and DEI programs do is they make sure that they go into the spaces that Black and brown and Asian people are in to hire from a larger pool. So you'll see efforts to have to attend career fairs at HBCUs, or to work on the HB1 visas to hire more Indian and Asian people for diversity purposes. So I mean, it's literally a multi-pronged tool. DEI and affirmative action are. Affirmative action was already taken away, and what's so funny is now we're seeing that uh, there's like less Asian, like the amount of Black people being hired into roles, the amount of Black people um, being accepted into universities has remained the same. Asian people have seen a decrease in their acceptance rates, and they're actually suing about it now. So it's hilarious. Qualifications over DEI. Again, all DEI does, or affirmative action in particular, all it did, it doesn't do anything now, but all it did was say that equally qualified, if there are equally qualified people, we will select the Black or brown person. That's it. DI hiring was the worst thing government created and allowed. Be gone with that garbage. Again, why? Why was it? Because again, it wasn't choosing people who had lower qualifications. It wasn't lowering any standards. So why was it a bad thing? It proves that DEI doesn't work. Smartest people should get into universities not based on skin color. Okay, but you have to look at, again, implicit bias, historical, systemic racism, and the fact that, most colleges wouldn't even accept Black people, wouldn't even accept women for years and years and years. I heard a really good analogy recently. Hi, baby. Hi, baby. You gonna go sleep? I heard a really good analogy that was talking about how if you were to play Monopoly and you got to play for 400 rounds before I'm able to jump in the game. So you have all the money, you have all the hotels, you have all the streets, all the all the utilities. You got everything, and now I'm finally able to come into the game. Do you really think it's fair? You just said Asians weren't getting into no, I'm saying that the rate of Asians getting into college was has decreased since affirmative action was canceled. Yeah. That's not applicable to real life. What do you mean? What's not applicable to real life? The scam to hire cheap. DEI is a scam to hire cheap labor. What do you mean? Monopoly is a board game, not comparable. Do you know what Monopoly is? The woman, because it was a woman who created Monopoly, created it specifically to showcase the disparities between in a capitalist society. Hi. The fact that you've had every opportunity in your life to do better and you're not a millionaire. Is that comment directed towards the white people in the chat? Because I'm not sure what every opportunity for me looks like in your opinion. Let's see. Cesspool, not cesspool. It's decreased due to DEI. Okay. California is a cesspool. Everybody I know who lives in California wouldn't leave if you forced them out with raging horses. The people that I know who have left was just simply due to money. It's a very expensive place to live. Okay, DEI is canceled. True. DEI is a scam to hire cheap labor. Again, I haven't seen that. 90% of the workforce, white males. Who you think the manager hiring based on who fits better? Thank you, Otto. Absolutely agree. Absolutely agree. And again, the things that we're seeing as, again, affirmative action was taken away, there's no real hit to Black people. Again, the people who are hit are primarily white women. And then again, we're seeing a lot of decreases in like Asian acceptance into universities. I don't know about hiring practices. So it's funny that all the white people care about the white people, but the white people are who are getting hurt the most. Again, 76% of DEI professionals are white women. So it's absolutely crazy. What Twister do type? TOO, sweetheart. Emo Whoopi. Yo, I wish I could be half as cool as Whoopi Goldberg. I love Whoopi Goldberg. Thank you. That's like a highest compliment. Thank you. It's Asians that are hurting the most. You admitted that. Not hurting the most. I'm just saying they're the only ones who've seen like a decrease in their acceptance to universities. I don't know about actually Black people genuinely can't be racist technically. Right? Black people can be very prejudiced. They can exhibit prejudice, but um you really have to have some actual ability to um have an impact with your prejudices if you're racist. Okay, sure. That you know what? Black people can be racist. All right, I'll give you that. I'm gonna debate you. Go for it. If you want to give me a call, go for it. How's your EBT? What's that? No, you can be racist. You do it to Mexican. What? No, you don't have to have institutional power. Okay, so what's your point? If black people can be racist, okay. All right. Sure. Room smells like cocoa butter. Oh my god, what's funny is you're close. Coconut oil. That's what I use on my hair. Prejudice based on skin color is racist. Not necessarily systemically, I'm guessing you mean, but individually. Sure. Yeah, okay. I'll give you that. George Floyd. Haha, thanks, George. Right. Keep race out of everything and the world will be a better place. Not at all. I love that I'm black. I love that when you see me, you can understand that you can know my lived experience to a large degree just by looking at me. I think that's a beautiful thing. For real, it's what divides people. You think that people just being born a particular race is what divides people? Very large experience because I'm fat. Yeah, I'm fat. I actually have a condition called PCOS, polycystic ovarian syndrome. So I'm really hoping to get on Ozempic sometime next year because it supposedly helps with like those types of hormonal imbalances. Embrace being black, but when things don't go your way, it's not because of your color. What do you mean not going my way? Like if I were enslaved, that would be not going my way. If I were to have a uh, job application rejected because of my skin color or my name, that would be not going my way. Oh, thank you, Joe. Let's see. If I were to not get the mortgage loan that I applied for because it was in a particular zip code or because of my credit score showing my race, that would be not going my way. It's because you wouldn't meet requirements. But what are those requirements based on? That's what you have to ask yourself, sweetheart. The good thing is God loves us all, and all you have to do is turn your life over to Jesus. Who's who's Jesus? Oh, I'm sorry, I missed a question. Michael, what did I miss? Can you repeat it? For me, I can't get ahead because I'm black. Who said I can't get ahead? Okay. DI lowers standards to minorities. Again, not true. I love Jesus. Who is Jesus? The black people can't be racist. Always ignore that question. Oh, no, no. Sure. I'll give you that, right? White people can be racist. That's fine. But again, I don't see what that changes or means. Like, what does that matter? Let's see. Like, who is Jesus? Jesus? Did you say not true? Does not intend. No, I'm agreeing with you that black people can be racist. I'll give you that. So what does that mean though? The party or cult of joy. Involving race into everything perpetuates racism and promotes division. I thought DEI helped mostly. We? What are we calling them? Girl trumps You are being racist now? How so? And again, who the hell is Jesus? All fired DI staff have been ordered to clean toilets and pick crops. Your account name is Jim Crow. That's kind of brilliant. I'll give you that. DI is didn't earn it. Oh yeah, that's not true. That's not true. DEI, I think what people think when they hear DEI, Trump's people claim to have Jesus too. I don't want their Jesus. Who is Jesus? Oh my God. The person who created you and some never heard of her. Hmm. I thought DEI helped mostly white women. Very true. Very true. DEI does help mostly white women. Are you atheists? Yes. He's literally a part of history. 90% of historians agree. Jesus is the guy that does my garden every other Saturday. What is DEI? So how is it racist? Uh, what? Like, okay, so people keep saying black people can be racist, and they keep saying that DEI is about lowering standards. So just let's unpack those two things. Black, technically and by definition, okay, people will argue that black people cannot be racist because we don't have that, like you said before, institutional power. But I'm very happy to concede that black people can be racist. Okay, sure. I still don't understand what that matters or what that means or how that is harming anybody beyond the perhaps single person that they're racist toward. So help me understand that. A study was done on DEI, right? It proved to only hire majority white women and migrants. Yeah, yeah. It's not racist, but you will find out if you really have white friends. Can y'all not see my baby? Is that what's happening? I don't have white friends. Do you not see this child? Good Lord. I don't have white friends. Did you know that there are no atheists in hell? I think I have my first caller. Hi, this is Sophie. What's your name?
Hey, nigger, so where do you
I can't have that. What's funny is I genuinely don't care about that word, and I would love to hear what you have to say, but I will get banned, and I don't want that. Anybody else who would like to call, please feel free. Or if you want to call back and refrain from using that language, very happy to speak with you. I effed around and found out because I had a caller do that the other day, and now I can't get my Instagram live for a few days. So let's see. How do you plan on stopping it when your people say it's more than white race? Hold on 1 second. Hi, this is Sophie. What's your name?
uh I hate niggers, white power, white power, white power, white power, nigger, 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 nigger.
Okay, so I got it. So you're just talking to me. Okay, well, they didn't want to talk to me. Alrighty. That's okay. Yeah, that caller called back. Abortion is awesome. I wouldn't have this baby without abortion because I lost my first baby. I did IVF and I lost that baby at 7 weeks. And luckily, I live in the UK. Again, I escaped. So I do have some survivor's guilt, sorry. But yeah, so I was able to get an abortion the next day to remove my deceased fetus. And 30 days later, was able to get IVF, a second round of IVF. Hi, friend. Do you want to ask a question? Are you okay?
Yeah, I'm sorry, I'm a little drunk right now. But,
What do you drink?
so,
What are you drinking on?
Pink Whitney. I know
Okay.
it's not really a manly drink, but it's all I got. Uh,
It's okay. Yeah, what's on your
uh,
mind?
so, so what do you think that abortion should be legal or illegal?
Um, that's a tough question. What do you think?
Well, I'm a man, so I don't really think I have any rights to speak about abortion. So I just want to see what you think about it.
I genuinely can't really make the determination. It's up to the woman and her doctor to make that determination. So I don't think that them being able to make that decision should be illegal, if that
Okay.
helps.
Well, I kind of agree. But so what if the baby, like, what if the doctors notice that the baby has like fucking Down syndrome or like autism or something fucking terrible? Do you think that the mother should abort the baby?
I mean, again, that's up to that woman and or that person, that pregnant person and her physician. I certainly, I know firsthand again that how difficult of a decision that can be. So I think just whatever they decide, they should be able to have the right to make that decision based on their qualified medical experience and whatever that woman and her
Hmm.
family choose. You know what I'm saying? But I mean,
Hmm.
what do you
Yeah, I
think?
understand.
Like, have you been in that position before, or is it close to your heart
No,
for
I
some
can't say
reason?
that I can't say that I have. It's just it's a very controversial topic in the United States, and a lot of people have different views on it. Me personally, I think that the woman should be allowed to do whatever the fuck she wants with her baby. If she wants to kill it, that's her choice. If she wants to keep it, that's her choice. But you know, I don't really have a say so in it.
Well, I mean,
Uh,
it's something a lot of people voted on, even though, like, as a man, you probably will never have to worry about having to get an abortion a day in your life. but but still,
exactly.
it's still close to people's heart. So I mean, it's like, do you think it's because people just, they care about babies, and how's it a bad thing to
Me
want,
personally,
you
me
know?
personally, I fucking hate babies, so I don't really give a shit.
Well, you know what? Hey, more abortions. Abortions for everyone. Let's go this weekend and have an
Yeah, yeah,
abortion
yeah.
party,
Fuck
right?
them babies.
Fuck
Yeah,
those
fuck them
babies.
babies. Plan function at Planned Parenthood tonight.
You know what? I think what's so funny is I genuinely think people who are like pro-life think that's how people who can get pregnant think. I think they genuinely feel like we're all like, oh yeah, let's go. Come on, girl, let's go get an abortion. Like, that's the level of, I think, flippancy they put on people. Like, how dumb can you be? Like, of course, it's not that easy of a decision to make. It's not fun for anyone. So I just don't get it.
Yeah, I don't get it neither. All right, this is my last question for you. Then I'll give you some more time to
Okay.
talk to other callers. But do you think people who enter the United States illegally and have children in the United States should be granted birthright citizenship?
I mean, that's what birthright citizenship is. So I mean, I believe in the
Okay,
Constitution.
so
So sure.
that would apply differently, in my opinion, because they're committing a crime being in the United States illegally, which is you can be sent to prison for them. So therefore, that any children that they have in the United States should therefore not be granted citizenship.
Well, you know what's so crazy is, like, it's that crime is like a misdemeanor. It's not even like a crime, and
Okay, it's
yet
still a crime.
sure, but yet we would elect an actual felon into office to
Oh
then
well.
tell other people what they can and can't do with their criminality. It's just silly. But did you know that a lot of people who are in the country, um quote unquote illegally, they're really not. Like, they've actually done the asylum process, or they're here under some sort of
Uh huh.
agreement, or they're waiting for their
Uh
court
huh.
date. So it's really not as bad as people try to make it out to be. There's not this influx of people coming over the border. It's really more about the asylum
Hmm.
process and the court processes. But I mean, I don't know, like, would that help you change your mind or change how you feel about it, knowing that it's not really a matter of legality because they are waiting for court dates and things like that?
Hmm. Uh, so I don't particularly hate Mexican people and people from South America. It's just I think that they're taking away opportunities from U.S. citizenship, from U.S. citizens who were born here and live here, been living here their whole life, taking away jobs, employment opportunities, fucking I don't know a lot of shit.
Like what kind of
Wasn't really
jobs?
prepared to answer that.
That's okay.
Construction jobs, plumbing, roofing, concrete, shit like that.
Wow. You know what's so crazy is I'm old. Okay. So I remember this TV show called Dirty Jobs with Mike Rowe. And this man went on a crusade to try his best to get Americans more interested and involved in the trades. And
Hmm.
it
Yep,
did
I'm listening.
it didn't really work. It didn't really work very well. So people
Hmm.
people in America, or Americans, traditional Americans, I guess, um, when they don't do well in school, that's typically the options they're given. Oh, you're not smart enough
Yeah,
for
exactly.
college, so do a trade, or go to the military. That's really kind of it. But even
Okay.
with those fallbacks, there's still such a uh, just an absolute like dearth of people filling these roles, you know, especially when it comes to um, things that aren't really like uh, skilled labor or trade
Mhm.
labor, like
Mhm.
picking fruit and you know, working
Mhm.
on cleaning and things like that. And there's even this whole thing called resilience construction. So even for people who are in construction, they won't do resilience construction where they're having to go into like hurricane hit areas and places with
Uh huh.
natural disasters and try to help fix up the homes
Yep.
there. Um, so yeah, I mean, it's just in case you're concerned, you really don't have to be, because again, the types of jobs that people who are coming in and taking are not in any way taking away from, again, the small pool of American, actual native born American tradesmen, or they're doing jobs that again they're nobody in America is interested in doing anyway, especially not for the pay that the people hiring them are willing to give, if that makes sense. But I mean, it's a great question. I mean, have you yourself felt that? Like, has you come up to where you were down to the line to get a particular job you were wanting and didn't get it because of a undocumented person or something to that effect?
Well, not me personally, but my father. My father works in construction,
Mm-hmm.
and I don't. And a lot of opportunities get taken away from him because there's undocumented immigrants in this country who could do it cheaper than he can. My father has 20 years of experience doing his trade, which is plumbing, and there's undocumented migrants who could do the same, plumbing, but not at the same level, and they'll do it cheaper. And it like let's say a mechanic will fix your alternator for $1,500, and then another mechanic who might not be as good at it he'll fix your alternator for $1,200. Who are
Mm-hmm.
you gonna pick?
Well, here's the thing, like who's setting those prices? You know, the market or other companies that hire these people out to they contract with them to give them the jobs that they're fielding and whatnot. Um, you know, for me, I never get mad at the person taking the lower wage. I'm sorry, I never get mad at the person who's taking the lower quote, and I never get mad at the person who's offering a lower quote. I get mad at the corporations, at the firms, at the conglomerates that come in and say, I'm only going to charge this much, or you
Mm-hmm.
know, I'm only going to pay my contractors this much. So a lot of times it's not even that particular plumber, it's the person who's over the firm that they're working for, who's setting those rates, you know. So
Yeah,
I'm always going to reserve my ire for the people who have a lot more control than the immigrant, you know what I'm saying? But
yeah, I
you
know what
know.
you mean.
And I'm sorry, what now?
Well, I've figured up enough of your time already. I think I'm gonna get off the phone.
Oh no, well thanks for
Uh,
calling.
all right.
All
Bye.
right, see you later. What a sweetheart. All right. That's a nice young man. You know, he called and he said some really mean things. And then he called back and he said more really mean things. I think third time was the charm. I'm really glad that he decided to call again. And that was a nice conversation. Local plumber is not a corporation. That is true. But a lot of times, like actually, my brother-in-law does this. He is a plumber, and then he got so his business got so big that he hired a bunch of other plumbers, and now he manages a bunch of plumbers. So that tends to be what happens a lot of times. So again, you'll it's very rare that you have this single person out here going to do the electrician work or the plumbing or whatever the case is, especially mechanics. Oh my god. There's almost always a shop or some group or firm or a person who manages a group of contractors. So again, I really want to question them as to, why they're uh, not paying their people more. So you think people should be hired based off of race and gender over qualifications? No, not at all. In fact, that's not what DEI or affirmative action is. It's just saying that for people who are equally qualified, to put the hiring on the person that can provide more diversity, as long as they are, again, meeting the standards and are exactly qualified or even overqualified, which is, I don't know if you know this, but Black women are the most educated group of people in America. So it kind of tracks with what even I've experienced, is that you have to have just so much, you have to have so much, uh, and there's, okay, a friend of mine and we would always say that Black people have to have the promise. Like, we have to guarantee that we can do a thing. We have to have the degree, the certification, the experience to show that we can do this thing. Whereas white people just need the, um, what is the word? Oh, my mind is gone. It's almost 1 o'clock in the morning my way. But white people just need to have the potential. They just need to have the potential. So look at Pete Hegseth, Tulsi Gabbard, all these folks. They just need to have the potential to be able to do this work. Um, so if anything, white people have benefited from DEI more than anybody. You do not live in the real world. What are you talking about? What am I talking about? What do you think I'm talking about? Lowers requirements to minorities. Stop spreading BS. It does not. I guarantee you it does not. DEI and affirmative action absolutely do not lower requirements. There are no lowered standards. My area natives get paid money from my taxes because they are born native. Do you think that's fair? Yes. So you don't live in America? No. Thank God. Or thank that sweet lady Jesus. You do not live in the, okay, lowers requirements. Da-da-da. Just because you go to college does not mean you're educated. Please explain that to me. What? just because just because you go to college does not mean you're educated. Please explain that to me. And I'm not even being facetious. Like, please explain that to me. How is that fair? I didn't choose to be born white. How come they get paid based on their race? Okay. Okay. That again, it's more so that, let's say that affirmative action is still a thing. It's not. The Supreme Court ruled that out sometime last year, I think. Um, so under affirmative action, the way that used to work is if two people were up for the same job, they were equally qualified. A lot of times the black or brown person would have to be even extra qualified. Then the company would be compelled to hire the equally or more qualified person of color or woman over the white man. So that's it. So a lot of this gets pinned on black people, especially when it's really women too. It's disabled people, LGBTQIA people. Let's see. So yeah, just if you're upset that you didn't choose to be born white, think about how much more difficult it is to be born black. Goodness. Natives here are very well off, have been. Oh God. Are you sure about that? Natives here are very well off, have been for generations, yet they keep getting my money. Let's give them more. Let's give Native Americans all our money. Let's give them more money. I want to give them more money. Let's give them more. Merit work. No one cares about your skin color. Keep listening to AI. Merit work. So, okay, merit work, but based on what? Because didn't was it you that just said that going to college doesn't mean you're educated? So, if black women especially are the most educated people, you're still saying to give the jobs to the white people because college doesn't mean that they're educated? Like, I'm so confused. Obviously, you've not seen what happened to the Navajo Nation. Drive through it. No, tell me what's happened to the Navajo Nation. You've done no research and you have no life experience at all. How old are you? Oh, I love it. Oh, I love it. If you can do your job well, they'll just drink it away. Ah, that's really kind of mean to say. Goodness. Their alcoholism is genetic. Yeah. Oh, that's mean. I'm not educated. Wow. Okay. Yeah, black women are the most educated. So technically, black women would be the most qualified, right? But who is it that said that having college education doesn't mean that you're educated? Again, I'm still waiting to hear the breakdown on that. Oh my god. And whoever wants to interrupt at any time to call in, feel free. Absolutely feel free. Let's see. Hey, look, give the tangerine credit. We are the gender we were at conception. Okay. First of all, that is the dumbest shit I've ever heard in my fucking life. That you're the gender you are at conception. Like literally, doesn't everybody know that we're all female at conception? We're all female at conception. We're not even like given like our we're not even like developing any sort of sex differentiation until like 6 weeks in. And a lot of abortion bans are at about 6 weeks. So it's crazy that, all these little girls out here, goodness. Being white is best. What do you mean? Like what's so good about it? What are some uh what are some good things about being white? I don't think colors has anything to do with education. That's racist. What do you mean? Can you explain? Said nobody ever. Do you know how much they discriminated against? They discriminated against? Okay, being white is. Oh, like, are you saying that white people are discriminated against? That is wrong. Open a science book. What's wrong? That we're all girls until 6 weeks? Oh, Sonic, I love you. There are good and bad and all races. I don't think so. I don't think there's much bad at all. I genuinely don't. Like even for people to say, "Oh, like okay, Ross is clearly a white supremacist." I don't think he's bad. I don't think he's my enemy. I don't think we don't agree, but only because I don't agree because there's really no such thing as white. So like what do you have? Like as a black person, African American, if you will, we have culture, music, a shared history. Hispanic people, they have culture, they have their food, their community, music. Asian people, they have their traditions, their food, community. What is whiteness? What is white culture? And how is that best? Please, please, please break it down, Ross. So, I mean, I definitely don't feel like, where do I think my culture came from? My African American culture came from? Probably slavery. Yeah, slavery. So thanks for, I guess, yeah, thanks for that, white people, for the culture I was able to have because of slavery. Okay. Ah. Hey, Trump has declared we are what we are on conception. So we're all girls. So every man is trans. And not only that, but to even say gender, you are the gender you are at conception. He doesn't even know what gender is. Gender and sex are totally different things. Two totally different things. It's absolutely ridiculous. Oh my goodness. Sonic, I want to follow you. I like you a lot. I'm gonna have to find you later. Do, 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 do. Thank you. I'm a special person. There's two genders. There's at least two. Sure. Let's see. A7, what's the difference between sex and gender? I'd love to understand your thinking. How would you defend against an armored column push against your position, 3 heavy tanks, 2 boredom plus infantry? You know what's funny is my husband, he's like really into this, like I don't know if you can see it. Let me see if you. All right, this right here. Warhammer. I don't know if you can see it. He's like really into Warhammer and a game called Warcry and stuff like that. So I'll have to definitely ask him that question when it comes to infantry and positions and things, because I do not know. But he might have a answer for you there, JB. We made electricity, built modern homes, and most everything you use, we done. Okay. Ignoring all my comments, thought you wanted a debate. No, I don't want debates. But what did you say that I missed? I'm sorry. Jason says there are only two. Only two what? Sexes or genders? And what's the difference between sex and gender? Whiteness is the secret of being able to be a boy mom without grass stains on all clothes. Boy moms scare the ever loving shit out of me. Oh my god. JV airstrike danger close. All right, look at a little community here. You're answering his question. I love it. That's sweet. I'm not hating. I think that we can disagree and have a civil conversation. A7, I totally agree. Totally agree. Thank you, man. Appreciate it. Have a great rest of your day and weekend. Aw, you know what? I feel like Phoebe in Friends. Do y'all remember that episode where she she opened a store? She didn't sell anything, but like somebody would come in and he was reading a newspaper and another person would be like, hey, can I finish? Can I get that when you're done? And he's, yeah, okay, sure. And so then by the time they walked in, people were giving people massages. It was like this whole thing. And hold on, I have a caller. Hi, this is Sophie. What's your name?
Nigger.
All right, yeah. So we got another hard R. That's all right. Honestly, you don't, if you want to, you don't have to hang up. If you want to get it all out, and then we can talk, that's fine. I'm right here for you. This is your time. This is your space to call a liberal, chit chat with somebody who might think a little differently than you. If you can change my mind on things, I'm very open to. I'm a very malleable person when I'm confronted with really good facts, really good evidence, really good arguments, I guess. But I don't like to argue. This is a very non-confrontational space. I very much just enjoy chit chatting, and hopefully we can uh, find some common ground with each other. I don't think we're enemies. I don't think we're on opposing sides at all, friends. I really don't. Oh my gosh. Yes. Oh my God. Um, Let me show you actually. I don't know if you can see them. Oh, it's too far. I don't know if you can see them if I move out of the way. But my husband is amazing. He paints all these. I'm sorry, baby. I don't know if you could see them. But yeah, he paints all these like little figurines. He's absolutely amazing. I have the best husband. I love my husband. Let's see. Sonic, you're a secret boy mom. No, you can. Okay, you can be a boy mom without. And you said mom. I'm gonna guess you're in the UK too. But you can be a boy mom without being a boy mom. I wish I could have sex with my kid, boy mom. Like, oh God, those are the worst. Ah, you're an example of everything wrong in America today. Thank God your days are over. So it is about race and sex, Clayton. Is that what you're saying? I know people that are racist towards every race. Awesome. Clayton, aren't you sweet taking the time in your life to join the live and share your question? What thoughts? Yeah, yeah. It's all good. Clayton, like, dude, explain. Like, what do you think I represent to the degree that you could say that my days are over? Like, is it that I've stated that I'm a liberal? Is it that you're seeing a black person? Is it that you're seeing a mom? Is it that you're seeing a woman? Like, what exactly is it that you're happy to see going by the wayside? I'd love for you to explain my ideology. So what is my ideology? Oh, thanks, Joe. Yeah, I can get a little crazy though. It's my glasses. I'm a four eyes. Is that what it is? Oh my gosh. Let me tell you, this is my second day streaming live um TikTok. And oh hi, I'm sorry. Benjamin, I'm missing people. So sorry. On Kick. Benjamin said there was a plane crash in Philly not too long ago. Yeah, I heard there was like something in the way of like 64 completely separate aviation incidents that caused at least one loss of life just since Trump got into office, which is nuts to me. So I think the one that happened yesterday was like the biggest um, since like the 90s. But yeah, there's been all kind of plane crashes and things. Mado from Denmark. Hi, honey. How are you? Thanks for chiming in. Oh, and I've missed someone on YouTube. Oh my goodness. I'm sorry. Hi, it says how to explain the plethora of cases where DEI played a role in the hiring of someone who was in charge when significant and critical problems occurred. Trump's SS guards and director, Boeing, and Thomas Sowell has data-based research going back to the 60s saying AA has done nothing but harm blacks and the country. No, we do not know your lived experience. You can't say you can look at Lil Wayne and say the same thing because he himself said he doesn't know racism. Okay. Okay, just to touch on a couple things. Um, let's see it then. I'd love to know what Thomas Sowell has researched that shows that American Airlines hiring of black people, I'm guessing is what you're saying, um, has been a negative thing, or that they're hiring people again solely based on their race, because that's not what affirmative action or DEI is. It literally just um, seeks to find people who are equally as qualified but go into places that they might not normally go, like HBCUs, or to actually specifically have training programs and job fairs and career pipelines from uh, lower income or marginalized areas, or for women or people with disabilities, things like that. So it's, first of all, not always just about black people, and second of all, uh, anybody hired into any company, even if it's through affirmative action or DEI, is still absolutely qualified to do whatever job they're hired for. Um, and no, we do not know your lived experience. Um, yeah, I think you do. I really do. I feel like for you to even come in and just see me, a black person, and then make assumptions about, what I might care about, or how I might view and see DEI, just kind of speaks to the fact that, yeah, you can absolutely make a pretty educated guess about how I'm going to feel about different things. Let's see. Me being racist to my own race shouldn't be called racism. A lot of ignorant people are so sensitive. Um, oh my gosh. Sorry, I was missing some comments from some other places I'm streaming to. Um, I'm shocked I haven't gotten any Rumble comments. That might have been those calls that I got. But I'm shocked I haven't gotten any Rumble comments, because those can be the most interesting, I think. Um, the place that I stream to that is probably the most challenging would be Gab, I have to say. But I've actually made some really good friends on there. Like, I have some ongoing conversation with folks. Uh, so again, we're not enemies. We're certainly not, we're not out here for different goals, even, really. Correct me if I'm wrong. Apple and who else? Clayton, all you folks who are clearly in disagreement with me about the benefits and loveliness of DEI, you still want to see these prices come down in the grocery store, right? You still want to be able to afford a house. I'd imagine you still want, safety and health and happiness and, freedom. Like, we're not on the opposite side of anything if you think about it. So, no, I'm definitely not, you can say what you want. We're not enemies. We're not on the opposite end of much, really. If DEI is so great, why do people get insulted if called a DEI hire? I wouldn't be insulted if I was called a DEI hire, but the people who are issuing it as an insult are the ones who have an absolutely uh, skewed understanding of what DEI is. Again, you said so yourself, that it's to lower your standards, or that it's like a shoe-in kind of nepo job, and that's again, that's just not true. So, it's difficult to be offended by something that's just not true or doesn't apply, but knowing that it's being said in a way that's discounting me as a person. Like, so if you called me a DEI hire, again, I know what DEI is. I know it's not a lowering of standards, but I know that you feel like I'm stupid or not as smart as you, or not as smart as some random white person, or whatever the case is. So, yeah, it's absolutely it's more telling for somebody to issue it as an insult, if that makes sense. So you support racism? No, not at all. Why would you think that? Why do blacks always want to be handed something for free? What do you mean? Explain. Like, what are blacks being handed for free? No, that's a good question. It really is. Thank you, RJ. Yes, you do. You want people hired based on color. Is that what you think DEI is? Can you explain to me what DEI is in your opinion? Because I don't think we're on the same page, baby. If you want to, it is proven that DEI hires are not as qualified. Proven where? Why would so many companies be dropping it? Um, what? Like, can you explain what evidence or articles or research you've seen regarding uh that? And also, most DEI hires are white women, sweetie. So, I don't know what people are on about with this primarily benefiting. Oh my God, y'all want food stamps, have kids for this. Do you know, again, who's the demographic that uses the most food stamps, that is the most on welfare? It's white people. So I'm not too sure what you're talking about. Y'all aren't good enough to beat out actual candidates. Again, I just think that's a misunderstanding of what happens in these hiring situations. Everybody's qualified, and a lot of times it's actually more about the two-prong approach. It's about, yes, making sure you're providing an opportunity for someone who is qualified, is equally or more so qualified than the white man. But also, it's about, again, creating pipelines from historically black colleges and universities, making sure you're having career fairs and training programs that are catered to communities that you might not particularly think to go in otherwise. Even stuff like the way that you tailor your job description. It can be really preclusive to like women, or like you could say something as simple as, you must be able to uh, carry a 25 pounds and walk over here and do that. And you might want to change that language if you're wanting to hire people who are disabled, or be more inclusive for people who are wheelchair bound or something to that effect. So, again, it's not just for black people. And it's not anything that about lowering standards. It's just about creating these different new pipelines that you might not have otherwise done, and things of that nature. Who's in most of our prisons? White people. No, it's not. They wouldn't have created it. How you touched a female, just asking? I don't even think I want to know what was happening up there. Um, no, it's about lowering standards. Show me where you're seeing that. Like, show me the hiring practice of any corporation that says we're going to lower our standards to hire more women. Like, please let me know where that's stated, because that's not at all what DEI or affirmative action before that was taken away by the Supreme Court. What they did. Let's see. Don't you think it's just racist? What do you mean? That don't I think that it's racist uh to DEIs based on skin color? That's one factor. That's one factor. There's also uh people want to hire more women. It could be white women. People want to hire more disabled people. People want to hire people in the LGBTQIA plus community. So it's not always about just skin color. But no matter what the case is, I promise you, nobody's looking to lower their standards. Because again, there's no, it's not about a quota. It's just about, again, evening the playing field a little bit for people who have the exact same, if not better, qualifications. And again, it's about the flip side too of, again, making sure you're creating those pipelines from places that don't traditionally get that attention. Um, yeah. Also, I just read an article that was so interesting about like Harvard and Ivy League colleges that they actually do this kind of weird DEI for white people by creating athletic scholarships that are just erroneous. Like, so they'll start a whole new like underwater polo team just so they can hire in people in those sports, white people in those sports to check to the now those are quotas to actually check those boxes that they're hiring a certain amount of non-academic students. So it's funny how DEI actually works for white people more than it does for black people. No matter your opinion, how is abortion awesome? Very traumatic for the women who got one. I got one. It's the best thing I ever did. Um, so glad I did it. If I didn't do it, I wouldn't have her. So just to tell you a little bit about it, I had a miscarriage in my first IVF attempt. My little baby died at 7 weeks, and because I'm in the UK, the very next day I was able to get an abortion and have my deceased fetus removed. It was just an embryo at that point, 7 weeks. And then 30 days later, I was back in America for IVF round two, in which I got pregnant with my daughter, who would not be here without abortion. That is an abortion. That's absolutely an abortion. That's absolutely an abortion. Do you not know what an abortion is? It's just the removal of pregnancy tissue. That's it. That's all it is. Just an old man. That's a fact. And if Elon did the Nazi salute, wouldn't that mean Kamala? No, they didn't absolutely just, they didn't go that hard. Thank you, Shady. Thank you so much. I really appreciate that. Let's see. Yeah, he definitely did a Nazi salute. Cause it now let me tell you, if he'd made a mistake, don't you think he would have like said so? Don't you think he would have like apologized by now? Like, oh no, oh my God, certainly didn't mean to do that. We haven't heard those words. Instead, we've seen him speak at the Nazi group for Germany, the AfD. We've seen him speak at the Nazi conference in Italy. We've seen him promote Nazism in Europe. We've seen him repost messages from Nazi leaders. So I'm sorry, but if it quacks like a duck and it walks like a duck and it looks like a duck and it does a Roman salute like a duck. Let's see. I mean, sadly, miscarriage is seen as an abortion. Well, technically, yes. Technically, a miscarriage is called a, a miscarriage by, or abortion by miscarriage. That's the actual technical term. But no, I actually got a D&C, a dilation and curettage, to remove my, because I had an incomplete miscarriage. So my baby died at 7 weeks, and I was able to, yeah, it's sometimes called a spontaneous abortion, but that's not the procedure. I had the actual abortion procedure, a D&C, dilation and curettage. And I'm so glad I did. So glad that was an opportunity for me to be able to do that. Let's see. Trump has done more for minorities. Sorry. I'm sorry. Please elaborate. What has Trump done for minorities? Please let me know. Because if I just didn't know, I'd love to be informed. Trump something, copy and paste the MAGA tank. That's cute. You really need to educate yourself and stop watching CNN. Somebody else said that exact same thing. Like, are y'all reading from the same book? What's happening? Um, Anywho, no, I'm on Rumble. I'm on Locals. I'm on Gab. I was on True Social until literally the day that Trump got into the presidency. I was banned from True Social. So you tell me how much Trump's afraid of me. Because again, we're not enemies. I'm out here trying to say, listen, we have a difference of opinion on some things or how some things might be done, but we all want the same things, my friends. We all want to be healthy and safe and free and to be able to make decisions about our lives. We all want this. Like, you don't want this? We all want this. So no, I think it's very telling that I was banned from True Social. So no, I absolutely have a diverse uh, diet of media. Let's see. What do you recommend, wise guys? Like, what would you rather people watch or listen to? No, some believe what the news tells them even after recent years. So what do you watch? Like, what do you partake in? Honestly, without Trump, I would never thought the world could be united against evil. I gotta love you. I really do. I don't kinda. I love you, Sonic. Let's see. I'm sorry, personal. My friend on YouTube. TikTok. Yo, again, this is only my second day streaming on TikTok. And it is live. Like, I'm so glad to be here with you all. Thank you so much for joining into my little space here. I'm so glad to see you. I hope you'll, follow me and stay in touch. Again, you can absolutely call that number if you want to actually have a chit chat about anything. Gentleman and I talked about abortion and immigration, so it doesn't have to be about DEI. Uh, yeah, this is your time and your space. But I'm really appreciating all the comments and the chatter. You guys are beautiful. Do research, like read papers, read reports. All news is biased, even Fox. They owned by the same. Agree. So what do you like? What do you look at? Where do you go? All media outlets are owned by three companies, so you see and hear their agenda they want you to. Did you see that video? It was maybe 4 or 5 years ago now, where they showed like 100 different reporters from all over the country all saying the exact same thing because it's just like you said, they're given this script and they're just spouting um the same dialogue. It's crazy. Another plane crash in Philly. Is Trump gonna blame the NAACP? Like, it's not funny. It's not funny. It's really sad. It's really sad. But Ian, oh my God. You're so right, honey. Yep, that was when the rest of the world started waking up. So what again, wise guys, what do you do? What do you read? What do you partake in? Let's see. Yeah, nah, but probably the unqualified DEI. Again, wise guys. My friend, my dear friend. I thought we were like vibing. No. DEI does not mean you're lowering your standards. It does not mean anybody's unqualified. Now here's the thing, wise. Here's the thing, wise. I'm I'm a little more upset with Trump and Elon for forcing the resignation of the head of the FAA on day one of Trump's presidency. I'm a little bit more upset about that. I'm a little bit more upset about the buyout offer that who knows how many air traffic controllers took to take advantage of this supposed buyout that's coming. I'm a little more upset with Trump for gutting the Aviation Security Advisory Committee of all its members on January 22nd. Okay, I'm a little bit more upset with Trump for all these things. So please, please, please tell me how some innocuous DEI hire had anything to do with these crashes beyond those things. I would love, love, love to know. Okay, but correct me. Tell me how I'm wrong. I'm very happy to read articles, send me some links. You're damn right I'm DEI. I'm all about diversity, equity, and inclusion. That's why I'm allowing you on my feed, sweetheart. DEI for all, okay? Oh my gosh. Exactly, Ian. Like he seriously came in here and gutted the FAA, got rid of all the freaking inspectors general, including over transportation, okay? And then y'all have anything to say about DEI? Make it make sense, please. There have been airplane crashes for as long as there have been planes. Crashed during Biden. Okay. You know what? I got one for you. I got one for you. Uh, Reagan. Reagan. Didn't he fire all those air traffic controllers because he didn't want them unionizing? 11,000 air traffic controllers. And then was it 10 months later they had that big plane crash? Tell me which one it is. Which one it is? Oh, what is it? Pan Am. Pan Am. Deadly, deadly plane crash. And did they blame Reagan? Even though he was directly the cause of that? They could have, but they didn't. So why then would Trump, after doing all of this to gut and just pare down the FAA, why would he have anyone to blame? We don't even know anything yet. We don't even know if the pilots were black or women or gay or disabled. We don't know any of that. So where is he even pulling his reasoning from? You know? So if we're going to be blaming anyone, this is not the time for that. Trump made it the time for that. Trump made it the time for that. Okay? So if we're going to make it the time for that, let's put the blame where the blame is fucking due, okay? And it's due on his head. It's on his head. The left is grasping straws to blame anything on Trump. How is Trump not grasping at straws to blame everything on DEI? Again, please make it make sense, darling. Let's see. Hopefully, Mr. Washington takes a buyout. The left has to do everything to make Trump look bad. No, he does pretty good all by himself. Y'all still probably believe everything about COVID instead of seeing it as the blind side it was. What else big was happening during COVID? Who blamed DEI for anything? Trump did. What you just messaged? Sorry, do I need to word it differently for you to understand? Sonic, get him. Get him. Let's see. Well, the left has to do everything to make Trump look bad. Okay, we said that. You know who I'm talking about when I say Mr. Washington. Yes. Denzel? You didn't like that he was in Gladiator 2? Was he a DEI hire? Stupid. Oh, God. DEI is awesome. I love it. You know who I'm... No. Okay, so Red Ag Host. Who is Mr. Washington? The FAA director that's never flown a plane. He actually worked... The new FAA director... I think his name was Chapino or something. He actually worked for a different aviation, like a national aviation corporation or something. So he does have experience with running a large aviation organization. I don't need somebody to fly a plane to know how to run a large organization. Um, but no, the previous guy who was in the office was forced to resign because Elon Musk told Trump to put pressure on him because the guy issued a fine, which was only $600,000, mind you, richest man in the fucking world doesn't want to pay a $600,000 fine. So that was levied towards SpaceX and Starlink, and gets Trump to make the FAA director uh, resign. Exactly. Yeah. Thank you, Cody's. Because the thing is, like, DEI, everybody, again, look at my note up there. Everybody thinks DEI and immediately thinks black and brown people. DEI helps all marginalized groups. There are white men who are gay. There are white men who are disabled. There are white men who are trans. Again, there are white women. So, you have to take race out of it. DEI in actuality has nothing to do with, again, lowering standards. That's racist to assume that you have to lower standards in order to hire marginalized groups. That's a pretty shitty way to think. Yeah. You realize he chose a vaccine conspiracy guy to this guy. I do need help. Somebody said I need help. I do need help. Please help me. Help me make it make sense. Help me make any of this make sense. You literally just confirmed DEI is racing. Racing? If DEI was gone, there will be so many jobless people, which lowers the economy. What's funny is all the DEI programs and DEI like leadership that was cut recently, 76% of them were white women. So, yeah, I don't understand how the white race thinks they're going to be helped by any of this. You realize you still believe Fauci and the jab works. Why did Fauci need a pardon? Why do you think Fauci needed a pardon? If DEI was gone, people would be hired based on merit. They're already based on merit. It's already hiring based on merit. We live in a meritocracy. Where do you think that word comes from? Okay, what would Martin Luther King say about DEI if he were here now? He'd love it. He would absolutely be for it. I think he would feel like his work towards civil rights was actually making a difference. What do you think Martin Luther King would say about DEI if he were here now? Oh yeah, and I love the jab. I just had my fourth COVID booster. I want them all. I just had my flu shot. I'll take them all. As soon as I can get shingles, I'm on it. I think I got monkey flu even. Like, I don't give a fuck. I want them all. Give them to me. Are you still mad about that Lyft driver refusing you a ride? What? Is that? I don't think that one's meant for me. Element. No, it's not. DEI is opposite of merit and qualifications getting hired because you're LGBT. Again, I don't know how many times I can say it, so I'll just stop repeating myself. How's your heart feeling? Oof, I'm good. It's funny because I'm so fat, but I'm so healthy. Like, it's crazy. Like, I literally just had my blood drawn because I had a flu, so I wish I had had my flu shot sooner. And I just couldn't get over it. So my doctor recommended I get a blood test just to check on my heart. And I'm fine. I'm a little anemic, so I do have to take some iron, but yeah, I'm good. And you know what's so crazy? Speaking of COVID shots and your heart, did you know that like that's literally the only thing that has been found to be a side effect of the shots is that it can cause is it myocarditis in some people, which is a non-fatal condition. So you're not going to take the shot that could stop this potentially deadly virus so that you don't get a condition that is absolutely non-fatal. Okay. Make it make sense again. Oh, why is I don't know, man. Let's see. In case you're scared, it was a female that helped you. Ah, the shock. Oh my gosh. You need DEI because you don't want to work hard. You hear that all the time as an insult to Hispanic people. Oh, they're so lazy, they don't want to work. But they're the ones wanting to take all your jobs. They're the ones wanting to snatch away all of your work. So what is it? Like do they want to work or do they not want to work? I swear I don't get it. The shot was not effective as they said, but you can still be a carrier too. A carrier? Too? It was all lies and y'all ate it up. Look, I'm still here. I think we all suffer from a little bit of survivorship bias because I had the shot, four to be exact, and five, five. I've had five COVID shots, and I got COVID once, and it sucked, but it wasn't as bad as this flu I just had. So, oh, about me that I don't want to work hard. Okay. Yes, they implied getting the shot saved others because you couldn't carry. Because you couldn't carry? Say, I don't want to work hard. I want to play with a man and provide no emotional support. There we go. Sonic, do you want to get like lesbian married where we're actually not lesbians, we're just friends, but we get married and help each other with the bills? I had 0 shots, had COVID once and was over it in a day and a half. Oh, so deadly. It's so weird that people will take their anecdotal experience and extrapolate that out to the rest of the population. Uh, again, there's more people in this world than just you know. Um, except there's a lot less people because they didn't get their COVID shots. Oh, God. Darwin was rolling over in his grave during that whole situation, I swear. Let's see. Aren't you cute? Question, have you ever been hugged? Honestly, though, Wise, like, what is your life like? Like, do you have kids? Do they still talk to you? Like, do you have a spouse, a husband, or a wife? How's it going? How's your relationship? Let's see. Okay, but then shouldn't they be responsible for getting their shots? And also, if I get the jab and I don't get it, then I'm not giving it to anyone. So yeah, again, you gotta help me out, man. Wise, I know you're a good person. I really do. Like, cause honestly, I feel like what you're really saying is we can't trust the things that were spoon fed, right? Like we can't trust the information that uh people are deliberately trying to shove down your throat. So I appreciate that you're encouraging people to check their sources, do their research, look at other places, I just would say, um, I'm very curious as to what your threshold is, though, like at what point can you yourself trust other human beings? Like, at what point can you say, okay, I believe this, or I believe you when you tell me this, or you know what, I can take this person's word for it because whatever. Like, what does it take for you to actually digest a piece of information and determine that it is true? Like, I'm very curious. Everything, not just society you believe in. That's true. Again, I definitely don't. I just don't think there are sides in this. Like, I feel you. Like, we shouldn't trust everything. We should, get a second opinion on things, but at some point I'm going to say, okay, I've had the second opinion. I've looked at the research study. And now now I'm going to make a decision based on that. I feel like that's how I actually do live and operate. I'm 157. Oh my God, I knew you were like a fae goddess. Let's see. I take information from all sources and form my own opinion. If you don't question everything, are you going to say you'll fall for anything? Is that what's next? Merit-based hiring is back. Thank the Lord. Again, who is this Lord? I've heard Jesus all day. Who is Jesus? Lord and Jesus. It's new to me. Let's see. All right, I take information from all sources and form my own opinion. If you don't question everything, again, I'll finish your sentence. You'll fall for anything. At some point, I don't believe you. At some point, I think you just get in your car and drive and trust that, the other people on the road are going to follow the rules that we've all agreed to and not swerve into your lane and kill you. I believe that when you go to get something to eat, that you're trusting that, that it's been inspected and it's safe. And, I think that there's so many areas in your life that you're not really, or that maybe you're taking for granted, that you do just trust in the system, in people. So I mean, I would hope that you would like try and expand that circle of trust a little bit more, because I feel like it would be very difficult to live in a world where I have to question absolutely everything. Everything? I'll question a lot of things, but everything? Nah, man. Oh, hi, Vader. Why is abortion awesome, and how far is it okay to terminate? I think all 9 months. All 9 months. Abortion's amazing. I had an abortion. It's the best thing I ever did. If I didn't do it, I wouldn't have this one. And yeah, I'll scream abortion's praises to the high heavens, where Mr. Lord and Miss Jesus live. Because that's a crazy opinion. My opinion on abortion, or food poisoning. No, but I did IVF, and I lost that baby at 7 weeks. And so unfortunately, like, that it was a wanted baby. I paid a lot of money and went through a lot of effort to get pregnant, but it just didn't work out. That happens sometimes. And so I had a miscarriage at 7 weeks. But I'm very lucky. I live in the UK. And so the very next day, I was able to get an abortion and have that, my deceased embryo removed so that I could then 30 days later literally go and get a second round of IVF, which gave me her. So, yeah, I'm a big fan of abortions. What if my mom had aborted me? How would you feel? Dude, I wouldn't feel anything. I would be dead. Let's see. Now, you asked a good question, Vader. You asked like how far along should you terminate? Um, Abortion doesn't always mean termination. I don't think people are aware of that. Trump already took away abortion, sweetheart. So I don't know what you're talking about. Um, but yeah, like, so there are abortions called hysterotomy abortions, induction abortions, that if you're after 24 weeks or after the point at which your baby could be viable, you can get those types of abortions that still try to preserve the life of the fetus. All abortion means is ending a pregnancy or removing the pregnancy material from the uterus. Sometimes not even the uterus. Sometimes a ectopic pregnancy can be in the fallopian tubes or in the gut or anywhere. Um, Show your source that Trump took away abortions. Are you not seeing the news? I thought you looked at a bunch of different sources, baby. Like Roe versus Wade is gone. There's all these abortion bans in almost all southern states except for Virginia. No, I wanted to be pregnant or just stop getting pregnant. I very much wanted to be. I did IVF. I paid a lot of money to get pregnant, but my fetus didn't make it. I'd only got to 7 weeks, and I had to have an abortion to have my dead baby removed so that I could go back and have a second abortion, a second IVF attempt, which again gave me my little girl. So I love abortion. Let's see, Mrs. Wise. Oh my goodness. And see, Gringo, Greg, that comment right there, I feel like it just tells me everything I need to know about people's real gripe with abortion. It has nothing to do with anything other than you want to punish women for seeking pleasure or you want to punish women who want to have sex. Like, babies are a 50-50 equation. So why is it always on the woman to close her legs as opposed to the men for to not get a vasectomy or wrap it up? Or in fact, that doesn't even matter sometimes because it's something between 35 and 50% of abortions are needed because of failed contraception. So that's not even always the case. But what about men who grape people? What about people who are statutorily raped? What about incest? There's all kinds of situations where, for the most part, abortions are needed because of the dude. In fact, all abortions are needed because of a dude. Roe versus Wade would have never been ruled on in the first place, not the government's right. It gave, you know what? They based that on civil rights. They based that on integrating schools, on Brown versus Board of Education. They literally tried to say that because Brown versus Education uh, took away was like a correction and taking away those parents' rights to send their kids to whatever school they wanted to, that um, Roe versus Wade needed to be taken away because it took away the right for, like you said, states to make that decision about women's health or some stupid. It was so convoluted, but that's the only reason they could justify this roundabout way of taking Roe versus Wade away. Yeah, the rights to do what? The rights back to the states to do what? That's what I don't get about the whole states' rights arguments with like the Confederate flag and shit. Like, states' rights to do what? To have slaves. So yeah, it's silly. Rechat conception when conception happened. I thought y'all were against misgendering. Wait, you're a dude? Wise guys? Are you a what are what are your pronouns? Cuz I am confused. Roe versus Wade should have never been a case in the first place. Each Yeah, we're all female based on Trump's definition. So there we go. Oh my god. Taking power from the federal government is what Trump is doing. He's shrinking it. Wait, what? Bethany, what? Taking power from the federal government is what Trump is doing. He's shrinking it. He's trying to get the power back to the people, believe it or not. Yeah, not. I don't believe that. You say otherwise you're you're anti-life? I'm old. You will be too one day, and you will be a different person. I will be too TOO one day, and you will be a different person. The fact that you don't think I'm old, wow, thank you. That's probably the nicest thing apart from calling me Whoopi Goldberg that I've heard tonight. Thank you so much. Exactly, and people don't see it. Their eyes are closed because the media has brainwashed them to hate Trump. Honestly though, then why even have a government? Like what's the point? Like I would like smaller government in the sense that I don't want the government sitting in the gynecologist office with me. Like that would be nice, right? Okay, so just tell me, what did Trump do for minorities? Name like one thing. Al Sharpton does not back Trump at all. Are you kidding me? What? Al Sharpton? No. Get hired on merit lyrics. Do you know what? I'm sick of DEI, the people thinking they are actually male and absolutely shit. I know, right? We're all girls here. It's girls all the way down, okay? Oh my gosh. What? Just literally type up one thing. What has Trump done for black people or minorities? It doesn't even have to be black people. What has he done for any minority? You really need to research. Really take the time to look into what he's doing. Don't rely on the news. Listen to them. Again, my friends, I'm on Rumble. I'm on Gab. I'm on Locals. I see all the things. Kim Iverson and Charlie, what's this, Crowder, and I watch all that shit, you know? And it's just lies and garbage. It just is terrible. Um, okay. What? What? I'm sorry, but do you not see that I'm a black person? Like how is it separating by existing? I don't quite understand. Enough with all the libtard DEI BS. You know nothing. Okay. I mean, I've seen, listen, read. Have you done all three? Just research. Look at my friend. You could have typed out like three things in this time. What has Trump done for minorities? Please, please, please name one thing. One thing. Okay, let's play your game. One girls, no. What did Biden do for you? I'll destroy you. Oh my God, Biden? First of all, CHIPS Act was amazing. We absolutely need to bring uh, the ability to produce silicone back to America, which he did. Biden lowered the cost of very critical medications, including insulin, down to like $35. That's all gone away now. Um, let's see. Biden actually, you might believe it or not, but Biden, uh, I wish he didn't, but he actually drilled more oil than any other president ever, including Trump. So we were already drilling a massive amount, which I don't agree with for the sake of climate change, but I'm glad that we were more energy independent under Biden. Uh, Goodness, like Biden was awesome. And in fact, the one thing that people cite that Trump did for black people is that he gave um some money to HBCUs, but like Biden gave like 3 times as much to HBCUs. So yeah, Biden's awesome. I love Joe Biden. He's not perfect. I don't roll around with his fucking face on my shirt or a bumper sticker of him, but I think he was a great president. Let's see. He got rid of illegals. I hate to say it, but yeah, Biden actually had a really great immigration plan in place. In fact, they were going to do a lot more than they were already doing. But Trump is who killed the bill for that. So, thanks Trump. False Trump gave more to HBCUs? He did not. Let's look it up. How much money did Biden give to HBCUs versus Trump? Alrighty, let's see. I think I might ask Chat GPT or DeepSeek. Okay, let's see. Okay, Chat GPT is giving me a bunch. So, okay. Trump gave $4 billion in total to HBCUs. Biden gave $7 billion in total to HBCUs. So yes, he gave. I was wrong about it being like 3 times as much, but almost twice as much as Trump. Permanently. No, he did. Here we go. While you're at it, research what Trump has done for minorities. I just did. I just did. You haven't told me literally anything else. In fact, I came up with it. Oh my God, Bethany. Who is Laken Riley? Who is Laken Riley? I've heard that name, but who is she? Like, give me the cliff notes. I just would like to know. I'm sorry, what did I miss? How is Biden not a good president? What did he do that you didn't like? I thought, I thought he did a great job. Okay, but who is she? I'm from England. This has been sad. I'm just sorry. More Sonic. Me too. I'm not from, but I'm in. And I had a note earlier that said I was giving away my location information or something, so I don't think I can be more specific than that. But you must follow me, woman, so I can stalk you. Made no decisions. He was given things to sign. Okay. What do you think that Trump just did? What do you think that whole stack of things was about? That's hilarious. Like, are you talking about Trump? He literally made no decisions. He was given things to sign. Yeah, yeah. Trump was just handed like a whole stack of shit on his first day. You know, it's so funny, Bethany and Wise. You're both saying how you would want smaller government, or that the whole point is to have smaller government. But like, at some point, we have to ask ourselves, like, what is the government for? What is the point? Like, if they're not there to keep their population or help their population be um, more healthy, more educated, more safe, then what the fuck is the government there for? Like, what do you need them there for? Let's just chuck the whole thing out. So that Biden had no idea what he was signing. I'm sorry, did we not just watch Trump not read, but just sign hundreds of uh Cheesecake Factory menus? I still haven't heard who this Lake and Riley person is. I'm so sorry. Like, you think Trump wrote, he sat down with his typewriter and oh my goodness. How is it that you believe things like that, but you won't take the news you hear on the news for face value? You know what, though? You're not wrong, Bethany. And first of all, you still haven't told me who Lake and Riley is. Would love some clarification there. Um, you shouldn't be on here if you don't know who Lake. So who is Lake and Riley? Let's please explain that. Again, I've heard the name, but yeah, you're right, Bethany and Wise. He is doing exactly what he said he was gonna do. So yeah, point to you guys. Like, yeah, you're right. People like you need to go watch Trump on Oprah in the '90s and then watch him now. You need to leave if you don't like it here. Where? I need to leave where if I don't like it where? I did tell you she was a med student that was going to Georgia State University. She went for a run. So she was a 20 something year old student studying in the medical field who went for a run, and I'm going to guess she was murdered by an illegal immigrant during that run. Do I have that right? Silk, I don't live in America. I have left your country because it is a cesspool. The whole thing. The whole thing. But is that right? Lake and Riley, 20 something year old student who was studying in a medical field, who went for a run, who was abused before she was murdered by an illegal immigrant. Is that, do I have that right? Is that right? That's right. So no, I don't think you're talking about Lake and Riley. I think you're talking about Molly Tibbetts. That's not Lake and Riley. You're talking about Molly Tibbetts. Who is Molly Tibbetts, you might ask? She was a 22-year-old nursing student, white girl, who went for a run and was killed on that run by an illegal immigrant in 2018 under Donald Trump's administration. So, why then are we so up in arms right now about the most recent killing of a young woman by an illegal immigrant, when if Donald Trump had done something about Molly Tibbetts' murder in 2018, Laken Riley would have never lost her life. So I think you need to put your anger and your ire on Donald Trump. Molly Tibbetts was raped. Excuse me, she was graped, and she was beat before she was murdered. The killer had to go back and show them where her body was. That was Molly Tibbetts, sir, under the Trump administration, under a Republican-led Congress in 2018, where if this fully controlled executive and legislative branch could have done something then, could have saved Laken Riley's life. So yeah, I don't hate anyone, but I absolutely dislike Trump for going so hard about something that he could have prevented. How did liberals open the border? How did limit liberals do that? Especially given that poor Molly Tibbetts died in 2018 under Donald Trump's administration. And what a pivot. What a pivot. Why do I hate Trump so much? Did I ever say I hated him or anybody? Like, isn't that my whole thing? Like, dude, I don't think any of us are on opposite sides here at all. I think we all want the same things. Kelby, how did DEI hurt your career recently? Let's see. Bethany, look up Molly Tibbetts. And I hope you're just as mad about Donald Trump not doing anything about her murder as you are about Laken Riley. What do you mean, open the border? Like, what does that mean? The degree, experience, and resume to move up at my plant. They instead hired an unqualified, then I'm going to guess you're going to say an unqualified person or something. I'm sorry to hear that, Kelby. When was this? Was this recently? But why is that like the immigration issue, it's not because of people illegally crossing the border. It has way more to do with the asylum process, the fact that people who come to the border are just let in and given a court date. Um, it's way more with how people legally use the immigration system to come in. It has nothing to do with people needing a wall to be kept out. November of 2024. Oh, well, you should try again. Try again right now. Since all the DEI stuff is gone, I guess. What was moronic? I offend liberals. I'm very hard to offend, I'll be honest with you. It's pretty hard to do. Um, let's see. Well, here's the thing. In America, you're not really allowed to like divulge too much in the way of hiring practices and things. So I wonder if there was something else at play, Kelby. Because if it was just based on that, you might have a lawsuit on your hands, friend. Um, but if there's some things that they just couldn't tell you legally or something, that could also be a possibility. But maybe look into hiring an attorney. Well, Bethany, I think we agree on a lot more than you would assume. Because I also really wish those both of those young ladies didn't lose their life in such a horrible way. But I tell you what, guys, oh my gosh, it's been like 3 hours. Time flies when you're having fun. Really enjoyed talking to you all. Oh my goodness, even the calls I've received, really fun, really nice. Thank you so much for taking the time to come and chat with me. Oh, I thought you left me, Sonic. I was like, oh my God, are we getting an annulment already? Like, what's up? But no, you know what it is, Sonic, because you're here too. It's like 2 in the morning. Um, so I need to get this one to bed, like real bed, and I definitely want to try to get some sleep myself. But trust me, I will be back tomorrow because this was such a great experience chatting with you all, especially those of you who might have disagreed with me a little bit. Like I ultimately think that again, nobody here is my enemy. Nobody here is a bad person. Um, so I hope that you can look at me with those same eyes. And oh, oh my God. Yeah, Sonic, if you don't follow me, I'm going to be very upset. Everybody else, please follow so you can see when I go live. I'm going to try to go live at 5 p.m. Eastern or 10 p.m. Eastern every day. So we can just keep chatting and having these conversations because, again, we absolutely are not on opposite sides of anything, friends. I'd love for us to keep this conversation going so we can build our class consciousness because we're all at the same level. None of us have billions. None of us have millions. So let's all just be friends, all right? But yeah, I'm gonna go to sleep. But I love you, and I hope that you will love one another, but with permission. All right, bye, friends.